At the Eastern Creek International Karting Raceway, we welcome you now to our coverage of the Formula A finale in the final round of the Australian CIK Championship. This will be quite a race for these pedigree karts. Ryan Lodzinski will start on pole. Gary Dan beside him. Then Winterbottom and Clark sharing the second row. Pontello and Chris Cox starting out at positions 5 and 6 respectively. Troy Hunt and Wesley May, Agland, Dive, William Yarwood and Peter Lahane whipping in the top 12. This should be a terrific race. Keep your eyes on Lodzinski. The man that's leading the championship heading into this race is Clark by 32 points. Needs to finish in the top 10 to secure the title for 1998 as they go racing. And best to begin was our pole sitter Ryan Lodzinski, who's been a real powerhouse performer in Formula A right throughout the duration of this championship. Second on the circuit is Gary Dan, so they're racing up front the way they started on the grid. Lodzinski first, Gary Dan second, the South Australian. Let's try and pick up the third driver for you, Mark Winterbottom, who started out at position number 3, and David Clark runs 4th. So really it's running true to form at this stage. And I'm joined in commentary by Ryan Briscoe, who earlier today conducted a demonstration lap on this circuit. Obviously it's a great track to drive on.
Oh, it's an excellent track.
Oh! Sorry to interrupt you there. A problem for Mark Winterbottom, who was running third. He'll now find himself in about 7th or 8th spot.
Yeah, I was driving around on the track. It's really good track to drive on. It's fast. It's got a few slow corners. Excellent track for racing on.
A bit of everything, you mean?
Yep.
Gary Dan under siege. All these karts are moving around a little, and obviously the tyre's not up to maximum working temperature just yet. And that's one of the most difficult parts about any form of motor racing, isn't it? Keeping your adrenaline under control early in the race when your tyres are cold.
Seems like an unusual thing for David Clark to be doing, as he's only got to finish in the top 10 in this race to win the championship. So I'm not sure what his tactics are for this race, but I'm sure he's trying to take it a bit easy.
You'd think his philosophy would be self-preservation, not to do anything silly. At the moment, he finds himself in the middle of a monumental battle. So he'd want to be a little cautious. There's Lodzinski, our leader. Clark drifting out, looking for an outside pass. At the end of the day, he's a racer, and he'd like to make progress and get up front and tackle Lodzinski. Also involved in this scrap is Troy Hunt in the kart 20. We'll get a look at him in a moment. He started from posse number 7 on the grid, so he's done a good job to be up running about 4th or 5th at this stage of proceedings.
He's doing exceptionally well on the Bridgestones as well, because I think the top 3 up there, they're all on the Dunlops, which seem to be at this race being the tyre to have. Troy the first Bridgestone in the field, and Nick Agland behind him in the Bridgestones too.
Lodzinski is the leader in 7. Next man through, Gary Dan, driving a Techno entry. He's a South Australian driver. And then, of course, David Clark, the Victorian in the CRG, the current points series leader in this championship. And hope you're enjoying the highlights. Possibly a change of lead coming up here, because Lodzinski is finding himself under increasing pressure now from Dan, the South Aussie driver, who's full of determination. And right behind him is Clark. There's the top 3, recapping them for you on the racetrack. And they're driving a configuration this weekend at the Eastern Creek International Karting Raceway of about 1,200 metres a lap, which is a comfortable distance, really, for these Formula A drivers. There's Clark choking the engine. And that is a great battle, Ryan.
Yeah, I'd like to see what Winterbottom's going to do, because a couple of laps ago he was forced back. But as we can see, David Clark there choking the engine again. Just trying to keep it cool. Don't want any problems happening.
You spoke earlier in our telecast about the G-forces these drivers are subjected to, and those slow motion replays really show the head movement, the neck, the body shaking around in the seat. It isn't easy. Oh, there's a problem. 2 of them veering off the racetrack.
That's David Clark there.
Well, he had to finish in the top 10 to win the national championship, and he may have blown it for 1998. He has blown it. Well, your heart goes out to the young driver. Meantime, Lodzinski continues this battle with Dan. Dan looking fairly relaxed in the seat.
You can hear the tyres really working the braking there. Always sliding around, and it's really good.
We've just had word come through from officialdom here at the Eastern Creek International Karting Raceway that Clark, in fact, seized an engine. Well, that makes it even that much tougher to accept for the young driver, who, I repeat, only had to finish in the top 10 to win the championship. An engine has let go, and subsequently his championship aspirations for this year are gone.
It's bad luck for Mark Winterbottom too, because he was moving up, and I think Clark's just sees straight in front of him, and they've both come straight off the track, so it's not good for him.
With the demise of Clark, we'll just check for you the equation in the championship. As they run on the racetrack, Lazinski is going to find himself in a very commanding position. If he wins this, he will beat Clark by probably half a dozen points or so. I'll check that for you at the completion of this race. Lazinski must have heard me, because he's starting to stretch his lead a little on Gary Dan. Back up the main straight they run. Then back to the man in third spot, which is Nick Agland, another New South Wales driver, driving an Arrow AX6 kart. That's him now, tucking down behind the steering wheel in an effort to try and maximise his aerodynamic effects.
Troy Hunt, I've always raced against him. He's always been a very hard racer, and I'd like to see what he's going to throw at Agland.
Yeah, Troy, in fact, joined us as a guest commentator at the previous round of this championship, staged in Melbourne. And he's a fired-up, determined racer, you're quite right. And he's looking to try and work his way past his driver in 55, Nick Agland, which effectively will put him third on the racetrack if he's successful in doing so.
You can see them using all the ripple strips there.
Hunt goes through on the inside. Sorry to interrupt you. You were saying about the ripple strips.
Yeah, they're just using all the track they can find, just taking it right to the edge and jumping over all the ripple strips they can find.
Using all of the track and then some more. Lazinski, Dan and Hunt. That is now your top three, as Hunt has been able to get by Agland. And that battle is starting to hot up yet again. No rest, is there? In motorsport, karting no exception. Up front, Lazinski continues to lead Gary Dan. They're both out of shot at the moment. You're watching the scrap for third and fourth in the Formula A final. And a good scrap it is too. They're separated by about a metre on this 1,200 metre Eastern Creek International Karting Raceway. I think I'm correct in saying they can come up with something like 20 odd configurations, 26 in fact, at this racetrack, and that makes it highly innovative, highly user-friendly. You can come out here, you can hire karts, you can have good fun with your mates, you can make it an official Grand Prix if you want. They've spared no expense on the electronic timing equipment. It is a great facility. Lazinski, leader on the left-hand side of your screen.
I feel very spaced out now. It's just the front two, and then third and fourth, and can't see back to fifth. It's a long way. Here we go.
Joshua Pontello in 27.
Wesley May behind him.
Pontello, a New South Wales driver, contesting the event this weekend of what you'd have to now describe as his home track. May, the energy kart, next on the circuit. Another New South Welshman. That's him driving kart 39. Trust you've enjoyed the action that we've been bringing you right throughout this year with the Winds Australian Karting Championship, the inaugural staging of this tournament, which has been so successful and will be back bigger and better than ever in 1999. I'll get my teeth back in my head now, right?
So this is the battle for fifth position. Joshua Pontello, Wesley May, and Clinton Dive. And they're throwing everything at each other.
Pontello started the race from posse number 5 on the grid. And at least he's a consistent runner. Still finds himself fifth on the road. And that is him now on screen. That's a Revolution kart. And the Revolution karts are, well, still striving for success in a big way on the Australian karting scene. Is that a diplomatic way of putting it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're working very hard. They race at all the European races, and you know, they're always sort of trying to get better and better.
Which is what life's all about if you can. Agland now in 55, battling away with Troy Hunt. Hunt did get the better of Agland a short time ago, so Agland has come back again, and that's the battle for third and fourth on the racetrack. Up front is still Lazinski and Gary Dan, and Agland and Hunt sideways as they enter the left-hander here at the Eastern Creek International Karting Raceway. And the super slow-mo again reflecting the G-forces these drivers are subjected to. Last racing lap now for the Queenslander Ryan Lodzinski. On screen, the PCR entry, and leading by a very comfortable margin to his nearest challenger, South Australian Gary Dan. There's no stopping Lodzinski in this race, and there's no stopping Lodzinski in the National Championship, particularly due to the unfortunate demise of Clark, who went out with an engine seizure early in this race. Clark is still going to finish second in the championship, though. Lodzinski about half a lap, make that a quarter of a lap now to negotiate of this 1,200-metre Eastern Creek International Karting Raceway. He takes it, and he is the Formula A champion for 1998. Coming home in second, Gary Dan. Solid drive by him. And Nick Agland, who worked hard to fend off the challenge of Troy Hunt. Let's check the championship point score for you at the completion of the fourth and final round as we look at our championship winner in Formula A, Ryan Lodzinski. A very happy man. He got there by a slender margin, 5 points in the end. 189 to 184 of David Clark. Then Gary Dan, Troy Hunt on 155, Winterbottom. And then we go down to Nick Agland, finishing sixth in the WINS Formula A Championship for the year.
Ryan Lodzinski, congratulations, winner of the Eastern Creek International Karting Raceway Formula A Championship. You must have had a great surprise seeing David Clark on the sidelines, because that's what you needed to win the title.
Yeah, it was good. When I seen him sitting there, I knew we had it won, and we tried real hard all weekend and got the pole position and won a few of the races, so it was really good.
The pressure was pretty intense there. Gary Dan was right on you for a number of laps, but you came through at the end.
Yeah, I could hear him behind me, but I didn't want to have a look back and see where he was, so I just put my head down and kept going.
Bill Heath's a long-time supporter of yours. He's unfortunately ill this weekend. What was his reaction when you told him what had happened?
Oh, he couldn't believe it. He was real happy. He was real good, considering he's got a bad leg and that. You know, it's really good for him for us to get the win.
Now, what's up for next year? Are you going to come back and defend your title?
We're not too sure what's happening next year, but we think we'll be back.